When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos and updates that I update regularly on my community tab. Now this is Fallout, the Rising Sun. Now, because of how lack of information there is outside of America, I'm making a lot of this up as I go along. It's a fair warning ahead of time. There'll be very familiar creatures that you've seen in the normal Fallout games, and there will be some creatures from other Fallout games into this. And I'll make some of my own to make the enemies more fleshed out instead of using the same enemies like ghouls. And I do plan to have super mutants in here, but they'll be slightly different. In this, China made their own super mutants, but the difference is they're red instead of green. Now, before we begin our story, I'll give you guys a little bit of background. Vault-Tec is an American-based company. Now, considering this story will evolve around Japan. Japan has a similar company like Vault-Tec. It's called Dragon Tech. That doesn't mean Dragon Tech is any better than Vault-Tec. Both companies use the vaults as a disguise to run human experiments and several other messed up social experiments. Because how close the US and Japan were before the bombs dropped, before the Great War, and before the Resource War, America and Japan had a close relationship. Japan based the Dragon Tech after Vault-Tec. But the moment the Great War began and the race to gather resources started, Japan and America closed relationships and started to break apart. Then when China began to invade Japan, by that time America has cut all ties with Japan, leaving them to their own devices. So naturally the leaders of the Japanese government initiated the Sleeping Dragon Protocol and started to select civilians to be placed in one of many of the Dragon Vault-Tec vaults. Your vault has a similar device that Vault-Tec has as Gek, but Dragon Tech's version is called the Dragon Heart, that can do the same thing as the Gek in one of the many American vaults of Vault-Tec. Dragon Tech found a Pip-Boy design to be too bulky, so they took another approach by implanting very advanced technology into the eye and the brain. Pip-Boy that's surgically implanted in either of the brain and eyes, or both. It has many functions. The Dragon Eye can locate targets with sight alone and can detect radiation by a visual interface that they see through their eye. We start our story in one of many of the Dragon Tech vaults, specifically Vault 999. Basically 3 nines. Vault 999 is specifically one of the nicer vaults from Dragon Tech. This vault, singular motive, is to produce strong warriors to take back their country from China. All they did was train, while the vault is ran by an artificial intelligence called Spirit to keep everything working in working order, letting the vault dwellers to concentrate on their training from generation to generation. Occupants of the vault is currently in their 4th generation, as you can see a young couple placing their son in the crib, and the small baby was sleeping peacefully in the wooden crib. And that specific small baby is the main OC of this story, Victor Rosefield. The Rosefield family has always been guardian of the vault. It's their version of a overseer. Specifically, Victor's mom is the current guardian of the vault. The only one in his entire family that's allowed to interact with the artificial intelligence called Spirit. Life has been good for the vault dwellers. Several years has passed. Today is the start of Victor's training in the art of the sword. They don't start to do gun training until they get much older. The 10-year-old Victor got out of bed and got dressed in a formal Japanese attire that you would see in a dojo, and left his family's quarters and head to the first lesson of the day, sword training. The training for Victor was hard because of his small stature of only being 10 years old. He couldn't do a lot because of his young age and his small body. They don't want to stunt his growth. Victor did not solely focus in swordplay. Prior to his first day in the art of the sword, he has been learning about technology, robotics, and other subjects that will help him when he does leave the vault. Like many of the older vault dwellers in this vault, they are given missions and set out into the wasteland to either bring back resources or learn more what's currently going on. After a long day of practice at school, Victor finally made it back to his home and put on his vault suit. The Dragon Tech vault suit is quite similar to the vault suit from Vault Tech. Only difference is the color scheme. Instead of blue, it is black. Instead of the gold trims, it is bright red. The numbers of the vault he lives in is red. When Victor exited his room, he saw his mother waiting for him. Wren Rosefield, the guardian of the vault, saw her precious son exit his room wearing his black and red vault suit. "There you are. How was your first day, little one?" As she walked over to her son and ruffled Victor's hair with her hand gently. Victor gently removed his mother's hand from his hair. "It was fine, Mom. Why don't you go finish what homework you have and get ready for dinner? Your father is out on a mission. So he'll be gone for quite some time." Understood, Tucson. "That's my little man. Now run off. I have to head back to my office to finish up the paperwork that I haven't completed yet. Stay out of trouble." She kissed her son on the forehead and left her quarters, or little apartment, and head back to her office to finish up with her work so she could spend more time with her son, Victor. Victor is in no way, shape, or form a normal child. Wren always found her son to be a lot more mature for his age. It's only natural her son's intellect is quite high. She suspects that he processed information a lot more faster than the rest of the children around his age in the vault. It might have been his first day, but that doesn't mean she didn't teach her son all sorts of things when he wasn't in school. The years has progressed. Victor is currently 12 years old. Victor's life has been sleep, attending his classes. He has been going to school in the vault since he was 4 years old. And he has 2 years under his belt learning the art of the sword. He showed progress. He's still young to learn anything about firearms. Victor is extremely looking forward to learn more about firearms and laser weapons. As you can see Victor practicing with his wooden training sword in the training room, just performing slashes in the middle of the training area. Despite his age, he is at the top of his class. Out of his age group, he is the most skilled when it comes to the sword. None of the other students are able to challenge him. Victor no longer spars with his fellow students. They're just not at his level. He just won't learn anything from them. And pointless spars. When Victor got home, he could tell his mother is in a bad mood. Victor could tell something happened. He hasn't seen his father in a while. When his dad came back from his mission a year ago, his parents just weren't the same. Victor might be pretty much a genius, but when it comes to human emotion and interaction, he draws a blank. He knows his father and mother have been quite hostile towards each other, but he never found out why. But Victor would never put the effort in trying to find out. There's just no benefit in it for him. Don't get him wrong. He cares about his parents deeply, but it's none of his business. So he stays out of it, and he's only 12 years old after all. When he walked into his quarters, he walked into his parents fighting once again. Victor made a straight line to his room and narrowed her eyes at her husband. I can't believe what I just heard from you. Her husband was a spy for the same people that caused her country's destruction. Her husband wasn't originally part of the Vault. They met each other out in the wasteland of Japan by chance. But Ren suspects their meeting wasn't just a random occurrence. After what her husband told her, and what she's read in his journal, the Chinese faction that has a strong presence in Japan is heading this way. Rin did not give her husband a time to say anything further, as she pulled out her 9mm, well, basically 10mm, and shot her husband in the head. There was a loud gunshot that can be heard as Rex drops to the ground dead, as Ren wiped the blood from her face, as she looks at her late husband with disdain. Victor came out of his room because he heard the gunshot and saw his dad dead on the ground, as he saw the smoking gun from his mother's hands. Ren immediately contacted security of the vault and told everyone to gather up for a meeting. The vault security came in through the front entryway of the small quarters and dragged out the dead body of the man out of the Guardian's quarters. I know you have questions, sweetheart. I just found out your father is a traitor. Unfortunately, I had to kill him. I can't allow anyone to endanger the vault, or you, my son. I want you to stay here and don't leave. Victor was confused on what exactly is going on, but he did what he was told and followed his mother's directions exactly. He is saddened by his father's death, but if he is indeed a traitor, like his mother just said, he got what he deserved. Victor has been raised to hate the Chinese and anyone that associates with them. Ren, the guardian of the vault, gathered all the key members of the vault in one of the large meeting rooms. I begin to inform all of you of the current situation, as she handed over the journal of her late husband. Apparently, my late husband was a spy for the Red Lions, the Chinese faction that has a huge presence in Japan. Only reason I know this is because the intel my brother gives me on a monthly basis. Means I won't divulge at this current time. Everyone is shocked, but that shock turned into anger as Ren gave her orders to get everyone ready to repel the assault from the surface. She immediately ordered all the non-combatants to be placed away from the combat zone, or the future combat zone. She personally took her son to one of the secret rooms of the vault that has a back entrance out of the vault, just in case of this ever happened. Of course, no one knows about it, except for the Guardian. It can only be activated by the Vault Artificial Intelligence in case of emergency, if the Guardian of the Vault was ever killed, or there was a rebellion, or in case of an outside assault. During Rin could hear gunshots. Rin swiftly took out her katana out of the sheath. Stay put. I have some Chinese to get rid of. As she left to head towards the conflict area, She's running through the hallway of the vault. As one of the red lions came running towards her, she cut off his head. Another one behind him came towards her, ready to strike her down, as she chopped off his hand, then shot him in the head with her 10mm handgun. Immediately took cover behind a corner as gunshots was fired upon Rin. Luckily, she took cover in time to prevent any gun wounds. Rin threw some kunai. The moment she heard no fire from the rifles, as several red lions fell to the ground dead. Rin went to loot their bodies for some useful ammunition as she picked up one of the rifles and began to fire upon all the Chinese presence in Vault 999. The fact they made it in without no trouble made her more resolved in her decision to kill her late husband. Not only did the bastard endanger the vault, but he endangered her son, her family, and that she will not tolerate. Of course she killed him. The moment he crossed that line, there was no going back. Ren might still love Rex, but he's a traitor. The moment he betrayed her, she no longer had any love for him. Just a mere thought of a fellow Japanese working with the Red Lion made her sick. They're the main reason why the world has gone to shit. Despite her best efforts, there was just too much Red Lions in the vault. They easily overtook the vault dwellers, gunning them down or striking them down with their swords. Ren had to block a incoming sword strike coming downwards from one of the Red Lions, ready to chop her in half. When the two swords collided with each other, sparks were created. As they proceed to have a sword battle in one of the hallways in the vault, Ren suddenly heard a terrifying sound as several desk cloths that has some sort of control device on their skull to keep them under control of the Red Lions. Once the death claws arrived, Ren realized the vault is lost. And to gather everyone to escape with her is not a possibility now. She needs to get her son and get him out of here. Killed the Red Lion that engaged her in a sword battle by swiftly eliminating him by chopping off his head as she begins to withdraw from the battle. Her first stop was to the artificial intelligence chamber room. She typed in the combination. As she unlocked the door, the moment she stepped in, the door locked again, automatically. Spirit, report, as a holographic image of a baby dragon appeared. Guardian, the vault has been overrun by these Red Lions and those creatures they brought. Many vault dwellers have been already terminated. I advise you to gather the survivors and leave the vault. Fully aware of that spirit, but I can't allow the Red Lions to get their hands on you. Begin to directly download into my Dragon Eye. Command code 64256, Yang Protocol, sorry. Yang Protocol accepted. Processing. Starting downloading. There might be some miscomfort, Guardian. Proceed, as she sat down on the metal chair and began to hook up some devices to her head. As a loading screen, as a loading screen popped up in her interface that she sees through her eye, as the downloading it is beginning to process and beginning to download the artificial intelligence into her dragon eye. Once the dragon eye was completely downloaded, Spirit spoke up and showed up in her digital display while she's using the dragon eye. I would advise you to retrieve the dragon heart. Well, the dragon hearts. There's two of them. I don't want the red lions to get their hands on them. Who knows what type of damage they would do with that sort of technology. Very well, show me the safest route to the dragon heart. Processing. Displaying safe route. Now. Acquired. Follow the waypoints that I've made through your interface. Copy that, Spirit. What's the status of my son? Offspring is in the same room where you told him to stay. Should I inform him of the situation? He's safe there. Let's proceed. Understood. I would advise you to stop by the armory for appropriate weaponry. Agreed. Luckily for us, it's on our way. When she finally arrived at the armory, she gathered enough guns and made her way to one more stop. She had to make a side stop real fast to gather resources and shove everything in a backpack. As she finally made it to her destination, in some sort of secure lab, she began to take all of the spare dragon eyes in containers to be implanted in her son when he is at the appropriate age. The procedure is still quite dangerous because of his young age, so she's going to wait till he gets older. When she got what she needed, she made her way to the dragon heart chamber. Unfortunately, there were several red lions standing in her way, trying to break through the door. Rin saw several death claws ramming into the middle of the door, trying to break it down by force. Spirit, can you destroy the dragon heart remotely? Yes, it is in my capabilities. Are you sure, Master Guardian? Yes, I'm certain. I can't allow the red lions to get their hands on it. On any of the dragon hearts. Rather see them destroyed and in their hands of the Chinese. Understood. I would advise you to withdraw from the vault. Once the dragon hearts are compromised, it will release a nuclear explosion, vaporizing and eliminating all life forms in the area from the blast zone. Agreed. As Rin made her way back to her son and avoid any further conflict by sneaking around. Luckily for Rin, she didn't have any counter or any. She didn't even encounter any controlled death claws on her way back to her son. The moment she walked in and saw her son waiting for her patiently. Follow me, son. We're leaving. Leaving? What do you mean, Mom? We're leaving the vault. I'll explain later. We're still in danger. She took her son by the hand and typed in one of the consoles on the side of the wall of the room as a secret department opened up, revealing a secret passageway. Once they walked into the secret passageway, it closed, so no one could follow them. Where are we going, Mother? The surface, like I said. We're leaving. Victor stopped for a brief second. He doesn't have all the information, so he can't protest. I see. As he continued to walk with his mother until they got to the larger vault door. Mother, how there is another vault door? I thought Vault 999 only had one exit. It wouldn't be much of a secret exit if everyone knew about it, dear. And placed her eye over the eye scanner. The moment it detected the dragon eye, the vault door slowly begins to open up. Once it fully opened up, she scooped her son, in her arms and ran out of the vault and began her process through the cave system where the specific vault door is located. Once she made out her cave and traveled far enough from the area, she saw a bright flash. Then there was a large mushroom cloud where Vault 99 used to stand. Ren continued her travels to a abandoned house. She made sure the house was clear, then boarded up all the entry to the house. Ren sat down on the most intact furniture in the living room of the house and gestured for her son to sit down next to her as she handed her son a can of food. Ren took out several out of the backpack. She got some important resources like food, water, blankets, and so on. They have enough to live off for about a few weeks, but no more. I take it the rest of them are dead. Unfortunately, yes. Your late father aligned himself with the Red Lions. Brutal lot. Parasite upon the wasteland that needs to be eradicated. They have a strong presence on the mainland of Japan. I don't know why he did such a thing, but he betrayed us, and I dealt with him accordingly. Because of my foolish husband's decision, the vault has been compromised. So I set a couple things in motion. So the events of the Red Lions couldn't get their hands on any further technology from the vault. Many have died of our fellow vault dwellers, but it was a sacrifice I'm willing to accept. Understood, Mother. I'm surprised you're taking this very well, son. I didn't have all the information before, so I can't come up with a logical decision. Father was a traitor, so he deserved what he got. I paid attention during the history class that the instructors teach during one of my classes about information of the wasteland. I knew one day I would venture into the wasteland, much like the older vault dwellers did in the past. You've always been a smart boy. It's good you took your studies seriously. That will definitely be a great asset to you in the future. What do we do now, Mother? This house is not what I call secure. Agreed. This is a temporary measure. We will be leaving in the morning to find a safe haven, so I could think on what's the next step. Where we're going to do. Either join another vault or integrate ourselves in one of the cities scattered all about Japan. We're currently on one of the islands, bigger islands of Japan, off the coast. There are several more other islands. Then you have the mainland. But crossing the sea from our current destination is too dangerous because of the hostile sea life and the red lions patrolling the area around the island. The red lions are not just a simple small faction of people. They're a big organization that took root in Japan. I need to find us a safe location so I can continue your training. You're not quite ready to deal with the wasteland on your own with your current skill. After all, you're still only 11 years old. You haven't had your dragon eye implanted yet. And I also need to find a capable person to perform such a procedure. That's going to take some time. But until then, you're going to listen to everything I say. Are we understood, young man? Understood, mother. I'm glad to hear that. And she gave her son a gentle and warm smile and wrapped her son in one of the vault blankets she brought. Once her son was wrapped fully around in the blanket, making sure he's nice and warm, she instructed him to get some sleep as she took out the last blanket in the backpack and wrapped it around herself and fell asleep on the couch with her son wrapped around her arms in a protective manner as they both fell asleep. The next morning, Victor and his mother began to pack everything up. When everything was packed up, Victor carried the backpack on his back. Good, everything seemed to be packed. Let's get a move on, son. Daylight's burning. We gotta find a way off the island and head to the mainland. But we need to secure transportation. As they walked down the path, they kept traveling like this for several hours until they arrived at a abandoned city in the middle of the island. Once they stepped into the city, Ren instantly noticed that the abandoned city is infested with feral ghouls. About time she realized that they were getting surrounded by feral ghouls on all sides. Once they enter further into the city, stay close. As Ren pulled out her 10mm handgun and took aim and moved her son closer to her so she could shield him in case of an attack by one of the feral ghouls, as she had her opposite hand on the handle of her katana, while her other hand is holding the 10mm, ready to fire at the slightest hint of hostility. All the feral ghouls were about to charge. Suddenly, they were all taken out, one by well-placed shots. By several type of firearms. Ren looked around. She was relieved to see the Japanese faction that calls themselves the White Tigers, as a very familiar face can be seen. Long time no see, sister. Yang, is that you? You look terrible. As she immediately embraced her brother in a hug. When I heard what happened, I came as soon as I can. What exactly happened, sister? My bastard of a husband was a traitor. He's been working with the Red Lions this entire time. I dealt with him. I won't go into detail than that. I don't plan to pry, sister. Your husband, Rex, was a lot of things, but I never thought he would be a traitor and willing to work with the Red Lions. Who's the kid? Oh yeah, I forgot I haven't told you about him yet. This is my son, your nephew, Victor. How's it going, sport? Just dandy. I highly enjoy running for my life. Yang started to laugh. He definitely takes after you, sister. Let's move out. It might be a bit of a travel, but you're more than welcome to stay back at the headquarters. That would be lovely, brother. You seem to have done well for yourself ever since you left the vault. You know me. Living in one of those death traps was never my type of thing. I like the freedom to travel and continue the good fight to take back our homeland from the Red Lion bastards. Ren makes sure to keep her son close by holding onto his hand while they travel with her brother and his companions that all have a symbol of a white tiger somewhere on their clothes, identifying they are part of the White Tigers. Make sure to stay close. This entire city is infested with these feral ghouls. Her and son walk in the middle of the small group of white tigers. The sun is starting to come down. We're camping out for the night. We need to find a secure location. This building looks promising. It looks pretty intact. All right, boys. Secure the building. Understood, Master Yang. The four white tigers enter the one-story building that looks like it used to be a shop of some sort. After they went through the entire building, making sure the building's secure, they returned back to their leader, Yang. Sir, the building's secured. Work, boys. Set up what you need inside. The rest of you, secure the exits and board up the windows. Sir. Mother and son entered the old shop. This island only has one city and a few other small buildings scattered all about the island. But that's all that's on the island. Outside of the wilderness and all the hostile mutated animals and insects. I take it, brother, you have some sort of transportation. I do, sister. That's how we got here in the first place. Me and my fellow white tigers managed to salvage several motorboats. We had enough useful, but they run on small power cores. That's not very common. Have enough energy to make the trip back to the mainland. So adding 2 more people to the group won't be a problem. Thanks, brother. After Ren makes sure her son ate, as everyone churn in early, so they don't attract any unwanted attention from all the feral ghouls that are walking around outside the shop. With all the exit and windows boarded up, they don't have to worry about any unwanted visitors noticing them sleeping. Ren was more comfortable with her brother present. He might have left the vault when they were younger, but she's always had a good relationship with her twin brother. The next day, they left the old shop. When they got close to get out of the city, until a radiated feral ghoul noticed them, out a screech, summoning all the nearby feral ghouls to their location. Rin moved her son behind her and took out her 10mm pistol and opened fire alongside with the rest of the White Tigers. As a firefight began towards all the ghouls that are running towards them, the radiated ghoul launched at one of the White Tigers as a glowing radiation burst came out of the feral ghoul's body, melting the face of the White Tiger, killing him instantly on the spot. Ren couldn't allow that radiated ghoul to get any closer to her son, so she rushed forward and chopped off the head of the ghoul as the body of the radiated ghoul fell dead to the ground. As she ran over to her son and picked him up. As Yang told everyone to retreat out of the city, as everyone began to run out of the city, away from the feral ghouls, they've only managed to kick the nest. If they stayed in the city any longer, they clearly would have been overran. And that's where we're going to stop it. Hope you guys have a good night and day. This is my Thompsons, and I'll catch you in the next video.